Oh, the wind is crazy. It's like storms in Wisconsin. It's nice. It's been so terribly hot. Alright, anyway. Okay, so I had a cranial cervical fusion. So they usually fuse the skull, what's left of it after your first neurosurgeon removes some of it. And then they fuse and realign the bones in the C1 to C2 spine. So it's like a cranium to C2 surgery where they do put hardware in. Because my neck, I have cranial cervical instability, which just means the bones in my neck are very movable. And they probably were attributing to the restriction of flow of my spinal fluid also. So not only was the brain, which he fixed that little problem to the best of his ability, and the bones in there were also probably impeding the flow. I have that retroflexed odontoid, so that's pinching off flow. Then you have a whole bunch of crummy cervical vertebrae that are just mushing together and stopping flow. So all three of which had probably caused the big, not so big anymore, but the swelling on my spine. So this one was supposed to align the bones, make it more stable, so that is no longer a problem. So 9.5-hour surgery. So Dr. B said my neck, quote unquote, sorry for swearing, was shitty. That I threw him many curveballs during surgery. The surgery would have lasted maybe 4 hours if I had been cooperative, but I was not. Number one, previous neurosurgeon went in the wrong location, so there was a lot of scar tissue where he needed to work. So just the removal of all the scar tissue from the previous surgeries was slowing things down. As we know, scar tissue adheres to things it should not adhere to, and delicate structures of the spine, it is very time consuming to make sure you don't hurt anything in there. And then he said I had a fracture on, I think, my C1 vertebrae that he thinks was caused during one of my surgeries in Wisconsin. That was not visualized on the MRI, so he had to put the hardware in he had to get inventive with where the hardware would go, because you can't drill hardware into like a cracked vertebrae, I guess, or else it would just probably crack more, like a wall, And then he said my C1 spine was duck bill shaped, very squished, and like, so it was hard to put hardware in there. And then actually the retroflex odontoid, that bone internally, that curve, he just, because that's how movable my bones are in my neck, he just straightened it. Just pushed it on up. Boop. Damn, problem solved there. So those are the complications that made things very difficult. And then he nicked my vertebral artery, which is understandable. My neck was a mess. There's structures that are just not normal in there. So he accidentally either pulled an adhesion, or I don't know the details of the nickage of the artery, but that is a big deal because then I started to bleed. He said it was a couple squirts that could maybe fill a couple shot glasses. And so if that happens, they have to repair the artery, but they have to make sure that that's the source of the bleeding. So they have to rush you to a CT scan. This happened around the 4-hour mark. And they scanned me while I was under. And then that slowed the surgery way down. After that, they had to place another drain to make sure I didn't bleed after surgery. And so that was very scary for my mom, because she had to get on the phone with my husband and get consent for the dye for the CT scan. How they do a CT scan when you're open and mid-surgery, bless their hearts. My gosh, oh, my son's. Well, my children are up, so this might be a little bit more interrupted than most videos. Dad's making popsicles, huh? That will get them gone. So, yeah, so many curveballs, nickage of the vertebral artery. That pretty much set me back just one day. I had to spend two nights in the ICU, which was a great experience this time. No issues. Staff was amazing. I had 2 drains placed, one by the plastic surgeon, which was a JP drain, and then one that was by where the vertebral artery was nicked. And both did not put out a whole lot of drainage at all, which is good. Difficult to sleep the first night. Pain. Had a pain pump. Pressed it as few times as I could because I'm very sensitive to narcotics. So unfortunately I have to do a lot of these surgeries with just Tylenol or else I get nauseous too. So, and I almost rather be in pain than have nausea. I really hate nausea. I know I've mentioned that before. So yeah, I spent a couple nights in CCU. It was the weekend, so I didn't see a whole lot of my team. I emailed Dr. B and said he didn't even see me on my birthday, which was Saturday, the day after surgery. And he politely emailed back that he wishes me a happy birthday, but I shaved 4 years off of his life. So I forgave him for not coming in that weekend to see me. I was doing fine anyway. I do post-surgery pretty well. I probably would have pushed to go home Sunday, but nobody came and saw me, and I had the drains in still, so. But then on Monday, Dr. Zippalaeus is my plastic surgeon. He reviewed my output and my drains, and he was able to remove my drains early in the morning. I had that JP drain under my muscle, which that hurts a little bit coming out. Ow! And then I had the other one by the vertebral artery, which had barely any in it, so no active bleeding. Everything looked good with the drain. So he removed them, stitched them up, put a new dressing on my incision, which is by far the longest incision I have had. Yay. I was eating, I was drinking, I was off the pain pump. I was only taking Tylenol, and if I absolutely had to, Tramadol, which is okay, but it makes me feel a little sometimes dizzy and a little nauseous, so I was trying to avoid that too. I was walking the halls aimlessly, bored out of my mind, but and they kind of just looked at me like, what the heck, this girl is post-op 3, she's ready to leave, which I did. Dr. B had me work with PT. I did the stairs fine, off the pain pump. I met all my criteria. So post-op day 3, Monday, had surgery on Friday. I was able to be discharged with my mom to the Airbnb. Yeah. Smoothie popsicles. Awesome.
There's more popsicles we could have.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't remember what they are.
In the morning.
Yeah, that's our breakfast.
Always putting them in the ice cube trays that Grandma Julie got me for wine, huh? Yeah. I better end this soon. Battery's dying. Anyway, so I've got this beautiful collar. It is an aspen collar. My daughter will decorate it with stickers once we get good stickers, right? Yeah.
And we will go to Walmart.
Yeah, we only can go to Walmart for stickers. Maybe the dollar store might have. But I want to get really good stickers so they don't fall off in my bed. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am to wear the collar anytime I'm up and about. I can take it off for eating, sleeping, and showering. It will be my friend for 3 months. I will have to buy replacement pads because that's disgusting to have the same pads for 3 months. It's not even possible. It will stink so bad. So yeah, overall, because of the tricky surgery, I actually had a fairly good hospital stay recovery. And now I feel better day by day, but it is the most painful surgery I have had. You wake up feeling very rough. My neck is sore. I get really bad headaches in the morning. It's pretty much similar to how I've been living though for the last 2 years, just a little bit more painful. But every day it gets a little better. I'm trying to stay active. Trying to eat well. Yeah, I'm happy to be back in Wisconsin. I flew back.
Wisconsin.
I stayed in New York. I think it was 3 or 4 days after surgery because we did a flight that flew out on Friday, regardless when I discharged, just in case something would happen, then I'd have to stay a little later.